Much has been said about ANAW, and I would like to thank every speaker who has spoken. Once again, Bwana Waziri, for making time, for just to be here with us. As an organization, it's been a journey, and I would like to submit to us that even with the success that the organization has had, we have come from a very humble beginning. As you noted, it's an indigenous organization. We call ourselves as such because it's an organization that has been formed here and in Kenya, but it is gone outside. So ANAW is an Africa baby. There are just three things that I would like to mention that have been associated with us. And that has been part of that success that we hear. The first one is integrity. As an organization, we have sought integrity, that is seeking to do what is right, no matter what. And that is what God requires of each of us. We have sought as an organization to involve God. And I can attest that God is real, God is living. We have a living God. And I want to submit as well that at the very beginning, when we were thinking about this organization, there was discussion with representatives, with people, friends, one based in Australia, a couple based in the US, two people in India. And we were looking at how should this organization look like. Well, it got to a point, yes, there was a name, and there was the foundations, like this organization should be inclusive, should embrace diversity, etc. But we got to a point, and it's like, God, is it your will that this be so? And we actually, let me say, made a demand on God, because God is living, and He says, "Come, we reason together," in Isaiah 1:18. And the idea was that we would not go unless God indicates. And you know what? I can attest today that God indicated very clearly, go, okay, into this organization. And why am I saying this? I want to encourage all of us to involve God. God is real. He's there. And when He said go, the first thing that He made sure that it was clearly Him. We had $10,000, okay, from a donor, no strings attached. Here, establish the organization. Yeah? And I can attest that we have had donors as an organization who have given us money, no strings attached completely. They don't tell us that, you do this or you do the other and all that. Because, God has been involved. And that's why, as an organization, we have embraced integrity. Integrity that we don't do things just for, when people are seeing us. Even when people are not seeing us, we have to ask ourselves, is this pleasing to God? Yeah? And that has been associated with us. And that is the favor that God has given us, even the partnerships that we have, the success of the things that we have done. We cannot take great credit, not even a bit of it. Yeah? And we thank and glorify God for all that has been happening with this organization, because it has had his fingerprints. The next tenet is partnership and collaboration. This informs the mission of ANAW, of working with communities, governments, and partners. It is in this spirit that ANAW has embraced inclusivity and diversity. And this actually has made us achieve a lot more than we would have ever imagined single-handedly. You know, I'm reminded of a story. There was a hare and a tortoise. And it's like, hey, you know, let's compete. The hare was insisting, come, let's compete. And they called people, and it's like, yes, it was a race. And they took off. Of course, that the way it had been lined up is that there were different challenges along the route. And so when the whistle went off that they take off, they ran, and the hare took off very fast, but went to an edge of a river, and he couldn't cross. The tortoise came slowly to that point and glided into the water and swam across and went and finished the race. The hare was just there, wondering, what do I do? Yeah? And, then he devised, he thought that he couldn't really do it alone. And he got together with the tortoise and said, why don't we do this together? The tortoise said, yes, I'm very willing. Let's do it together. They decided, okay, we're going to run together and see how far we can go. So they took off. Of course, for the hare, the tortoise was too slow, and he found that, but he still contained his impatience. And they got to the river. At the river, the tortoise carried the hare, yeah, and they went through the river together and to the finish point. So, what am I saying in this story is that we are better together. Others may be slow, others may be fast. And we have known, and Bonacias, I submit this, that if it was not working with governments, okay, in fact, initially we used to criticize the government, lambast the government, but we realized that that is not the way to go. Let's work, let's support the government, yeah? And then we found that the government is willing to collaborate, and it is why we have had so much. So, Bonacias, we appreciate the partnerships that we have with government agencies, and it is through that we have achieved so much. As an organization, even all that we have been doing, we have not been doing alone. We have a myriad of partners. Not only in Kenya, here in the room, but internationally. And we pull resources together, and when we pull the resources together, we do things that are just phenomenal. And that's who ANAW is. We believe we are better together. And we value our partners. We value UNEP, we value AU, IBA, government representatives. I may not be able to mention all of them now, but basically we have, so many of you as partners. We've worked together. We just really, really appreciate each and every one of you as a partner. The third tenet that we have embraced as an organization is what I would call triple P. Pointed, prioritized, and purposed. We have to know where we are going. So the first pointed, you can also we can also think of focus. We identify where we are going, and together we set what we need to go there. And the next P is prioritized. You will agree with me that nothing, absolutely nothing on earth is done unless it's a priority. You are here because you prioritized to be here. There are so many other activities that you would have engaged in, but you are here. And purpose is so important because many great things are done by people who have purposed. I can only think of someone I know in the Bible, Daniel, who purposed him not to defile himself. And because of that, he actually served in 4 governments at the very senior level. Yeah? So, just that's an example. But to be able to move forward, and that purpose of heart, decision that we need to make is critical. And that's what our 5-year strategic plan is offering us. Is pointing us as to where we want to go. It gives us priorities, because we can do so many things, but our strategic plan, that is well thought. So that strategic plan is offering that those priorities, and also it gives us a purpose. There are some things we've set to do, and we have to do them through the strategic plan. That said, the key lesson learned from our past strategic plans is the interconnectivity existing between animals, people, and the environment. Bwana CS, it is not by chance that we are here. It is important. Your ministry is very, very key. And none of these 3 things can be ignored at the expense of the other. Today, over 3.5 million people have died from COVID-19. Understanding its origin to forestall future pandemics is therefore of global importance. According to Professor David MacDonald of Oxford, coronaviruses, for which COVID-19 is, historically afflict humans through spillover from animal sources. Indeed, Alexander has already mentioned that in his remarks. Similarly, actually a case of the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, outbreak in 2012, spilling over from domestic camels and killing 858 people. is an example. Another, SARS-CoV epidemic, for which up to today there's no cure, that broke out in 2012, killing 744 people, spilling over from palm civets as an intermediary, transferring infections from cave-dwelling horseshoe bats. This is a clear indication that we need to consider the welfare of each of the three: animals, people, and the environment. For sustainable development, mitigating not only on loss of human life, but also biodiversity loss, species loss, climate change, and pollution. Hence, the One Welfare approach. While One Health achieved a lot in its time, it does not comprehensively encompass the three. We know it has a bias on human health, but now we know that human health is affected by whatever else is happening around the human, animals, the environment. So that cannot be ignored. So human health cannot stand on its own. And that is what, on a CS, we are asking probably your ministry, because that's where we are going. We had One Health, then we talked about One Health, One Welfare, which is still being talked about. But strategically, we are going to One Welfare, globally, because we're going to get to a time where now people have to think of animals, of environment, and human health. So that said, Bwana CS, allow me to end there by really appreciating you once again for your time. It's a great honor to have you